In Alaska, everybody who worked with her or for her resigned.
Let's talk
See,
about Dr. Knox.
I've spoken to other families that have come across her path, and it's not just myself.
Oh, it's definitely not just you. See, I printed out some of the articles about Dr. Knox today. It's Dr. Barbara Knox, according to lots of news media, she was at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine. She had to resign her position there
Why did she have to resign her position, Christy?
because colleagues complained about unprofessional behavior, and there were allegations from parents that she had wrongly accused them of child abuse. So she's
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
In Wisconsin.
So then in 2019, she took a new position in Alaska.
Wait, someone else hired her?
You
She had to go
believe
all the
that
way to Alaska to get a job, though. I think it's cold there.
it is cold there, but she heated things up in Alaska. And January 28, 2022, she announced her resignation there as well, just
Oh,
days after the Anchorage Daily News and the Wisconsin Watch co-published the latest in a series of stories about families and caregivers who said their lives had been upended after Knox wrongfully diagnosed children's illnesses and or accidental injuries as abuse. There were investigations in both of those places. In Alaska, everybody who worked with her or for her resigned because of her behavior in the workplace.
what was she
She
doing?
intimidating coworkers to say that abuse was occurring, even if it wasn't. They reported her to the organization months prior. It fell on deaf ears. She resigned from there in Alaska. And guess who hired her? University of Florida, Jacksonville. She left Alaska and was hired at the University of Florida, Jacksonville, as their assistant director of their fellowship program for their child abuse pediatricians, or their, in Florida, we call it CPT doctors, child protection team. There was an article actually.
She
That,
has had to resign from two positions for
yeah,
being investigated because she was removing children and calling it child abuse when it wasn't. And not just that, as if that wasn't bad enough, to be bullying other doctors into doing the same is almost more dangerous because now she's creating a cult of doctors who are calling things abuse that's not abuse, which means she can widen her reach.
and she's in a leadership role. They have total and complete power, and the judges are letting them do it.
I think that was the one of the biggest shock factors for me hearing about Dr. Knox's past, the fact that every colleague of hers in Alaska resigned because they had constantly reported bullying to corroborate what she wants them to say was mind blowing to me because the radiologist got on the stand and testified that they being himself and Dr. Knox, did an addendum to his radiologist report, finding a slew of more fractures with Dr. Knox sitting next to him. After hearing that in the court, because it was brought up in the court, and then him admitting that 2 days later, after he wrote his first report on what he saw, Dr. Knox came and sat next to him, and they somehow found just a ton more fractures in my baby.
Mm.
Would that not be questionable to someone?
It should be.